So, Emily,
So, Becca,
how are you?
I'm good. How are you? Welcome
I'm-
to episode
Five?
Six?
It'll be 5, I think.
Is it 5?
It's 5.
Okay.
Um,
Episode 5 of
yeah.
the Socially Awkward Session.
The indoor bedroom session.
Because it's hot as a mother.
So I have a couple of things I'd like to say because I've had quite an interesting week.
Okay.
And I know that you have some things as well.
Okay.
Would you like to start?
Yeah, do you want to, alternate stories?
Sure, we can. Yeah.
Okay. We'll probably get sidetracked anyway.
Obviously.
So, I believe in the last episode, I told everyone that I got a new job.
Yes.
Okay. And, so my job's only about 10 to 15 minutes from my house.
Okay.
So it's a nice, scenic drive.
Mm-hmm.
Very, 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 not really deserted, but, not very busy, right?
Right.
And the location where my work is an industrial park.
Okay.
So it's literally just buildings and buildings and then trees and trees and trees.
Right,
So
right.
lots of hiding places.
I know what Ellison Industrial Park looks like.
Okay, but they don't tell people where I work.
Yeah, good luck finding anything in the Ellison Industrial Park.
Also, sidebar, did you cut out the part where I said the name of my work in the last
did.
episode? Okay. Cut that. Matt, cut that. So, the last 2 weeks, because I've been there 2 weeks, on my way to work every day, without fail, there has been a Buick, much like my own, parked in one of two places. Both places sort of off the beaten path, sort of halfway hidden behind trees. And every day, every morning I drive past it, and every noon I drive past it. Every afternoon I drive past it.
Mm-hmm.
And there's always two males sitting in the Buick, windows up, car has not moved. So, it's just a curiosity that I've run into. And I'm very concerned, because what do they do during the day? Do they work there? Are they
Or-
hotboxing?
They're probably, that's what I was going to say.
For 7 hours a day?
Or maybe it's just that's their morning routine as well.
And
your
their
routine-
afternoon routine?
Well, sometimes you got to end the day, the day be rough. And they're just we just need some, friendship time.
It's
Just the two of us.
sometimes there's 3 guys in there, but there's always 2 guys in the front seat, sometimes one in the back. It's curious to me. Because, every time I see them, I'll see them in the morning, and then I'll see them in the exact same spot in the afternoon.
And then we find out, later on, 2 years from now, on the news, it'll be, some story about the 2 to 3 guys in the Buick LeSabre on this, secret parking spot and, the shenanigans that they're up to. And
I
we're gonna
can't
be
And because I have the exact same car, they're probably gonna, frame me for murder or something.
Yeah, probably.
That's exciting.
That's always exciting.
Anyway, so I just wanted to share that with you because I think about that every goddamn day.
Well,
Literally.
speaking of interesting morning routines,
Okay.
every morning I have to drive Sir Chubbs to school.
course.
Okay, and it's like we've said, about a 30-minute drive. Because
Give or take.
Yeah, give or take 10 minutes. So anyways, I don't know if any of you have to drop your kids off at school, but the car rider line in the morning, I don't know how it is in the afternoon, but in the morning especially, it is ridiculous.
It's some bullshit, right?
These bitches don't know how to drive. They don't know how to drive in Pensacola, just in general, but specifically in a drop-off line.
I do want to point out I don't have kids, but I have a nephew and a younger sister that I tote to and from. Go on.
Well, so, I'm driving down Bayou, but Bayou turns into, I don't know, some other street right before it hits Scenic Highway.
Right. Cervantes?
No, that's Cervantes. Scenic turns into Cervantes, but Bayou turns into some side street. I can't think of the name of it right now, but that's
I know
not
what
the
you're talking
point.
about.
Yeah. So it's a street. It's one lane going either way from Scenic Highway, which is a very busy street for those who don't live around here, especially in the morning times.
God.
and then one going towards Scenic Highway. And his school is like directly off Scenic, but the road to get onto it is, you know, I don't know, like a block or so away from Scenic Highway. Right. Well, the traffic coming from Scenic is always blocked off right there because people are taking rights into the school street.
Right.
But a lot of times it's backed up because they're, you know, having to stop to let their kids out and that kind of stuff. You can't just like kick them out on the move. And I think about it a lot.
Tuck and roll, bitch.
Sometimes I'm like, hop out, buddy, hop out. Get prepared. But yeah, so anyways, that's normally blocked off. And sometimes Bayou, like going towards Scenic, is blocked off too because people are taking lefts.
Right.
And
I fucking hate it.
Yeah, it's obnoxious. And also the people who, like, fuck all the people who don't understand in a scenario like that you take turns.
Right?
You know, one person takes a right, then you let a left person go.
I have a story relating to this, but go on.
Yeah, so that's how, like, normal, civilized society handles things. But there's a lot of uncivilized bitches in this town. So anyways, a lot of times the Bayou Road gets blocked off because people aren't letting the people who need to turn left go.
Right.
So it's illegal, for those who don't know that, to, in an area like that where it's bold motherfucking lines, it's not a passing zone, for you to be like, I'm so busy and so important that I'm going to just pull off, go on the other side of the road and pass all these people. Yeah. Also, because there's a crosswalk right there where little small children are crossing the street.
Literal small children.
And you can't see them. So if you were to zoom past and fucking bowl for children... Like, then
that's not funny, but it's
well,
funny.
You know, I'm just saying, like, that's one of the reasons why it's not allowed right there.
Right.
But these bitches do it every single day. There's always some asshole like Deborah or fucking Tom who feel like they're more important than everyone else and that no one else is busy, no one else is in a hurry, and they like will pass. Well, they have gotten to the point where cops hang out right there and hide, and they will pull you over. And me and Riley's favorite thing in the mornings now is like when those beautiful red and blue lights pop on and some dipshit who couldn't fucking wait their goddamn turn like everyone else gets pulled over, and we will like snap around so quick to be like, dumbass, like fuck you. You're not a fucking like president. You don't get to just like act like you're more important than the rest of us, you dipshit. Anyways, and that's like our favoriteest thing in the morning times now.
I was gonna ask, like, do cops hang out there now? Because like I fucking hate those people. I've always hated those people. So school started recently, that's why we're talking about this. And the first day my mom picked up my little sister from school, she texted me and was like, you can always tell who the new parents are. Because the way that my sister's middle school afternoon pickup line works is there's two lines. There's an inside line and an outside line. Mm-hmm. And, like, the lines, like, you know, take turns picking up their kids and, like, pulling up. So apparently there were a bunch of assholes that were, like, line jumping because they're trying to, like, get to their kids sooner. Mm-hmm. Like, literally, like, one line would, like, start moving and somebody from the right lane would, like, squeeze their way in. Like, that's not how it works, Anna.
Pick a line and commit to it.
Fucking commit, Brenda. God, I hate Brenda so much.
I really don't like her. She's not a nice person.
Fucking. So there's, I don't know if the kid goes to that school anymore, but there's this lady, this parent that used to pick up her kid when I was there, picking up my little sister. I dubbed her the Red Taurus lady, because she drove this...
A red Taurus?
Red Taurus. This, like, beat-up old red Taurus. Uh-huh. And I can't remember what pissed me off so much about her. But, like, she never paid attention. Mm-hmm. And so, like, the line would be moving up, and she would just sit there with her car off. And so I'd, like, people. Really passive-aggressively, like, get, like, 2 inches from her bumper. And I remember, like, she had this other little-ass kid in her back seat. The kid turned around and flipped me off. And I was like, bitch, tell your mom she needs to learn how to drive. God damn.
Pay attention, Red Taurus. Well, speaking of the 2 lanes, Riley's school is like that too. There's 2 lanes when you actually get into the driveway of the school. There's 2 lanes. One is for, if you're, just driving through, I guess.
Right.
And one is because you're on the side of the sidewalk, you're going to let your kid out.
Right.
Now, everyone's in that lane to drop their kid off. But sometimes if you drop your kid off and the person in front of you is taking too long, these other impatient ass people will get into this left lane and try to zoom past. The thing is the left lane has to merge back into the right lane anyways to get out of the driveway. Yeah. And I am that petty bitch where I'm like, if you can't wait, just like I have to wait because I'm on my way to work as well. I'm not letting you back in. Oh, fuck no. Like, I dare you. Like, the other thing, too, is that there's, like, the inside of the fucking parking lot, right? Where, like, if you were going to stop, park, and get out and walk your kid in, or you had to go in and talk to the, like, office or whatever. Right. Then you have to get back in and merge. I will let that person out, and I will not let the person in the left lane out.
I will look you in the eye as I pull forward to not let you out.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I will make direct eye contact.
Yeah. Well, while we're on the fucking subject of shitty drivers in this town, I just thought of this other story. Like, this was before school started, so I was taking Riley to my mom's house. Right. And my mom lives on Bayou, and there's a turning lane in front of my mother's neighborhood because it's pretty fancy. And it's super bougie. I love her. And so I'm driving, on the right side where I am, there's a lady in front of me. I don't remember what kind of car she had, but we're going to call her Tammy because she was a dumbass. And
Tammy's always a bitch. I've known one decent Tammy in my life.
From your new job?
No, actually, my elementary school PE coach, who I actually went to high school with her son.
I have never met a good PE coach. My middle school PE coach was like a creepy lesbian lady, and I will never. I know who you're talking about. I will never forget what she told us. Like, she was teaching us how to power walk because apparently that's something you just don't know how to do. And she's like,
are really good at power walking.
Her description of how you had to be, it was like you had to have your arms up, your back straight, and you needed to clench your cheeks like you were holding a dollar bill in between them. And I was like, why are you prepping young middle school girls to be strippers? Like, what the fuck? Why is that, like, your description? Just say squeeze your cheeks. Like, you don't need to talk about dollar bills in between them. Like, first of all, that's gross. That's how you get pink hole. Ew. Anyways, so I'm driving, and there's like a garbage truck or it was like a big delivery truck or something, and it was trying to take a right into one of those real nice houses on the actual
on the right side,
right, like by the water, right, and
the bougie and then the real bougie,
yeah, like on some other level we can't really compute. So he's trying to take a right. Those trucks are huge, so it's gonna take him a bit, right?
Yeah, it's gonna take a second.
So this woman, and we're almost right in front of the turning lane, right? Right. So this woman's not moving in front of me. She's just sitting there, and I was like, well, shit, like, I'm right here on this turning lane. I'm just gonna go ahead and get into the turning lane. So I start to go. I signal that I'm going to take a left. I go to get into the lane. She had decided that she was gonna try to pass this truck, which, again, another scenario where it is bold motherfucking lines. It is not a passing zone. She, goes...
That's a 2-lane road for a reason, Tammy.
She goes to, decide all of a sudden that she's gonna do it, but then she sees that I'm right there and almost hits me. And then she wants to, turn around and look at me and be flipping me off. Like, she's mad that I'm actually...
Tammy?
Yeah, I'm actually gonna take a fucking left while she's just trying to pass this truck, because, again, another person who's too fucking busy to wait around. And so she's, flipping me off aggressively and, freaking out in her car. And, I was for a second, I was I'm gonna, respond to her the way she is responding to me.
I'm gonna rear end this bitch.
We're both about to die. But then I stopped and I thought about it, and I was like, this is gonna be better. And I look at her, and with the biggest, most genuine smile, I hit her with 2 thumbs ups. And then I take my fucking left and I go about my day. And I feel bad for Tammy because that probably ruined the rest of her week. She's probably thought about it every fucking single day for the rest of her life. She'll be like, but that one bitch.
Can I tell the story about my dad?
Sure.
So This is in the same sort of vein as like shitty drivers, but also my dad is a shitty driver in this scenario. My dad is not a bad driver, and he's not a reckless driver. But he is notoriously a terrifying driver. You can ask my dear sweet mama. Ask me. I will tell you I hate driving with my dad. It's terrifying. Especially on like open roads or highways. So I don't remember when this was. But we were in Alabama for some reason or another. Just like having a leisurely family day, right?
Okay.
And so my dad's driving, my mom's in the front seat, and I'm sitting behind my mom.
Mm-hmm.
And we're on this, 2-lane road somewhere in the backwoods of Alabama where if something had happened, they wouldn't find our bodies for like 3 weeks. And we end up behind these 2 motorcyclists. Mm-hmm. And they're also taking, a leisurely drive together.
Okay.
And my dad gets pissed. And I don't remember why. I just remember like him and my mother bickering in the front seat. And finally my mother says something to the effect of just do it. And so out of nowhere, 2-lane road.
Okay.
My father hits the gas, moves into the left lane, and just flies by these motorcyclists.
Oh, no.
And then whips it right back in front of them. And the entire time, my mother is like eyes clenched, like gripping the seat. She was terrified. I was terrified. My sister was probably terrified. It was not a fun day.
Okay, but like, have you ever watched Sons of Anarchy? Because I feel like fucking with motorcyclists, especially a group of them.
It wasn't even a group. It was like 2 old people.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, because like, them bitches is scary.
Yeah, they'll fuck you up. But
They
no,
will. They'll roll up and like swarm your car like mosquitoes in freaking summer. And then just be like breaking shit. That's scary.
But yeah, that's one of those really vivid memories I have that just... I hate driving with my dad.
Family time.
Yay! Hooray!
We got one more story pertaining to driving this
I like
week.
how this just turned into a tangent of shitty Pensacola drivers.
Yeah, it's a thread. So, okay, Thursday, and this is going to go into 2 stories, kind of. Okay, so Thursday, I thought that I was going to have an appointment at UWF with a professor. Okay. And I'm going to tell this story, but before I do, I had dressed kind of nicely for this appointment. And when you think of me dressing up nicely, what do you think of?
I think of you in like a cute dress and a cardigan and like flat.
But there's normally quite a bit of cleavage.
Yes.
Yes. When I'm trying to be like gussied up, I definitely bring the twins out to like just help with anything. I'm not gonna lie, I am one of those girls.
Pushes all the mincemeat to the top of the pie.
It pushes all the mincemeats. I am definitely one of those people that's like, okay, if I'm gonna get attention for this because it is the way that it is and that's the way the world works, I'm gonna use it for my favor. Okay.
Right.
I'm gonna just increase my odds of success.
I'm gonna turn the male gaze on its head and use it to my
advantage. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. So anyways, I had this dress on. I don't know if you know it, but it's like that blue one. It has the flowers on the bottom. I usually wear it with leggings.
Yeah.
It's blue. Yeah, okay. And it's got a low cut in the front. And
yes, as most of your dresses do.
most of my coworkers that are males, they love this dress. They're very fond of it.
Does Scott like
it? First of all, yes. And we call him the boss. Actually, I call him Chief.
Hey, Chief.
Hey, Chief. Love you.
Does he listen? Did he listen to the first episode?
No, I don't think I told him about it.
Okay.
But he always calls me Engine when I call him Chief. It's adorable. It's a thing we do. Sidebar is yesterday, okay, so I get him coffee a lot of times. Like, I'll run and get him and my sister coffee. My sister works with me, plot twist. So anyways, I'll go get them coffee a lot of times because out of the three of us, I am the least busy.
Same.
Usually, I guess.
Also, how my office works, for
Well,
sure.
I don't even think that I'm less busy. I'm less important. So
Yeah,
my busyness doesn't
same.
matter, I guess. So anyways,
Same.
I go get them coffee a lot of times, but sometimes my sister will go. And
Right.
my boss, the chief, he likes to be petty. Like, he loves to try to, like, stir up mess with me and my sister.
Me too, Chief.
So he's like, he comes into my office yesterday. I'm super busy because my coworker's off. She had a loss in her family, so
Oh.
hearts go out. But
We love you.
we do. But anyway, so I'm doing like a lot of shit, and I'm like, balls to the wall busy.
Right.
That's a meta for you guys because I don't actually have balls. But anyway, so he comes into my office just to be like, well, I was going to ask you if you could go get me coffee, but you're clearly very busy, so I've already gotten it covered. And I'm like, why would you, like, come to tell me that? And I was like...
He sounds so petty.
He's super petty. And he's like... I was like, is it my sister? Is she going? Because you should tell her that I need some. He's like, I would never dream of getting in between two sisters. And then he, like, winks all weird. And I was like, whatever. He was like, if you want her to get you coffee, you have to text her. So, of course, I text her, and I got coffee. On his dime, too, by the way.
Aww.
She's like, you're going to have to pay him back. And I was like, that's never going to happen. One time, I did get coffee for him, and he had $5 in change, and I'm the kind of asshole that I just like to fuck with him sometimes. So I put his $5 in the, like, warm sleeve of the Starbucks cup, where you could only just kind of see it, and I give him the cup, and I don't say shit about the change, and he doesn't ask. And so then he leaves, and I was like, hey, did you get your change? And he was like, what do you mean? You never gave it to me. And I was like, oh, yeah, I did. It was on your cup. And he was like... it's probably in the conference room if you want those $5. And it was in the trash can. I was like, $5. People were in there, and I just come busting in, dig through the trash. And I was like, ah, ha, ha. Works again.
Oh my fucking god.
So use that next time you need a quick $5.
Oh, that's hilarious. I love
I have
that.
a lot of good stories. But anyway, so the reason I brought up what I was wearing. Okay, so I'm driving home from work that day. And I'm, like, jamming out to the Lumineers or whatever. Like, I am in it
You're
deep.
a fucking hipster.
I love them. They're so good. Cleopatra is my favorite song. By
I've
them.
heard, like, one song by them.
Well, if you haven't heard Cleopatra, it's really, really good. I like it a lot.
Okay.
But anyway, so I'm jamming out. I'm having a good time. I'm just mellow. I'm in the zone. I think we were on our way to get through Sackley's before we went home, like, because I was not trying to cook.
That sounds about right.
It was a traumatizing day. You'll see why in a minute. But, so I'm, like, stopped at the red light on Fairfield and Mobile Highway.
Right.
Okay? I'm in the going straight lane because I'm going to cross Mobile Highway and go into Fairfield, right?
Right.
And there's a right lane right there.
Right.
And there's, like, cars up in front of me, like, on the right lane, but there's plenty of space for this dude who's pulling up to pull further past me.
Right.
He doesn't. He stops right next to me. And I don't normally, like, look at people. Like, I mean, I kind of do, but, like, I don't make eye contact with people while I'm driving. Like, I'm not trying to, like, find a love connection, like, as I'm driving. And so he stops, and I, like, look over at him, like, what the fuck are you doing, kind of thing. And it is... do you remember your gas station guy?
Yes.
Like, it was probably his, like, uncle or something, because he was old. He had, like, very few teeth, just like in this busted up like SUV type situation.
Oh my God.
And he stops right next to me, and he is like hitting me with his like toothless smile and like a bunch of thumbs ups and like nodding. And I'm like, I'm not sure if you're talking about the music I'm listening to, because you can't really hear it. Like, you can hear the bass, but you can't hear like what's happening in the car, or if he's talking about my boobs. I'm leaning towards probably my boobs is what he was like super excited about. And I was just like, and turned away. Like, my windows were already up, but like I checked to make sure they were already
like
up.
lock the door.
Yeah, like buckle my seatbelt like tighter. Like, it was really awkward and very uncomfortable.
Yeah,
I didn't like it.
very close to the car in front of you.
I was just like shifted to the left, and I'm like, this is how I normally sit in the car, facing this side, because that's how I drive.
That's how driving works.
Yeah, like that's the best angle for it. I don't know if you read science, but that's how. So anyways, my appointment at UWF.
Okay.
Okay. I thought I had an appointment with the head of the grad program at UWF, the psychology grad program.
Okay.
By recommendation of another professor, he's like, meet up with him, discuss like the details of it and blah, blah, blah. So that's what I was trying to do. And I vividly in my mind remembered us email exchanging last week and him being like, okay, what about next Thursday at 1? And I was like, works. Cool.
Do you have record of this email?
Oh, I have the emails, yes.
Okay.
So I immediately put it in my calendar
Okay.
for Thursday that just passed. And so I'm like stressed out at work because, like I said, my coworker is off. And I'm like, oh, I got all this stuff I have to do before I can leave. And I have to leave at 12:30 so I can make it to UWF to get to this appointment, blah, 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 blah. Like, I know where I need to go, where his office is, all of that. But I'm like stressing myself out. I was like, I don't have time to eat. I don't have time to like talk to people. Like, I'm busy. I got to get shit done because I don't want to come back to work with me being the only one dealing with anything and it be just overloaded and then, you know, whatever.
Right.
So, I get to this appointment and the parking lot that I park at that's closest to this building, or at least that I'm most comfortable finding, because like we've discussed, UWF is a very big campus.
Yes.
And I am a creature of habit.
Very scary.
Yeah, I'm a creature of habit. Like, I know where one parking lot is that's closest to all the buildings I've had to interact with. So that's the parking lot I park at. I'm not like out trying to hunt for closer parking because that's just too confusing for me.
Right.
So, but that parking lot is probably like a 5-minute hike to the building.
Oh, and when you say hike, like, it's an actual hike.
It's uphill.
Like,
both ways. I don't know how they do it, but it is. And I am not like super like set on my cardio routine, so my body is never ready for it.
No.
But anyways, and again, it's summer in Florida and I'm wearing this dress and leggings because, again, 2 inches above the knee at work. But I get there and I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to be late. Because on my way to the fucking appointment, I'm behind this stupid truck. It was like a Hyundai truck. So fuck that guy. No, Honda.
Fuck
it was
you,
a
Honda.
Yeah. And I'm at the light in front of the Dairy Queen on Scenic Highway. You know,
Right.
those lights right there are very short.
Yes.
Okay. So he's sitting
They're
there.
also a pain in the ass, but go on.
He's sitting there at the light. It turns green. Does not move. It stays green. Does not move. Turns red. Then he wants to creep forward. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
Did you honk at him?
No, because I'm a passive piece of garbage. And
See, it was probably like a young kid
texting
on his phone,
Yeah.
not paying attention. He was probably like, "Oh man, this red light's so long. I wonder what's going on."
Yeah, he didn't even notice he missed a green light. So then, when the light does turn to green again, at first he doesn't move, then he sees it, and he, like, hits the gas and, like, zooms forward. And I'm like, way to kill the environment, fucking Derek.
Zum, zum.
Whatever your name is. I can't ever think of, like, good, shitty dude names, like, fucking
Chad. Chad is my go-to.
Chad.
Chad.
Andrew.
Matt. Actually, no, I love Matt.
Yeah, what? Excuse you. We're sorry, Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Um,
Wherever you are.
So he, like, zooms forward, gets to this other red light, because it had now turned red, and he's sitting there, and the light turns green, and he's doing that shit again. And then he's like, oh, well, I'm in a hurry, and he just, like, books it. And I'm like, you piece
Like
of
through
shit.
the red light?
Right. Well, no, like, you know, once it turned green again,
Okay.
but it had been green for a little bit before he realized it was green, and then he was just like, whoom, away. So I thought I was going to be late. So I'm, like, all stressed out, and I am, like, power walking my goddamn ass off trying to get to this building. Because, I'm not going to run, but, like, I'll walk hella fast, okay?
Right.
And my legs were burning. Like, I was like, I'm going to die here. Like, this is what's going to happen. And so I get to this appointment. I'm, like, trying to control my breath. Like, I don't know if anyone can, like, picture this, but if you've ever watched The Sword and the Stone, there's a scene where this wolf is trying to chase this kid through the woods, and the wolf is not being successful.
Just, like, sweaty, and you can't really breathe, and you can't really catch your breath.
He gets to the top of this, like, hill, and he's like... and, like, it somehow looks like the wolf is melting, because also he's, like, wet, because he had just, like, swam through this lake. But anyways, that's what I looked like, okay? And so I get to the building. I had to climb upstairs, which again, I was like, I'm not ready. And so I get upstairs and I like book it to this guy's office. And
Right.
the office's door is closed.
Right.
The blinds are pulled. The lights are off. I'm like, is he napping? Like, I don't know. Maybe he eats his lunch in the dark. Like, he's like trying to get like his chi back. I don't know. So I knock, but like super gently, like, because I don't want to disturb his nap, you know,
Right.
and no answer. And I'm like, what the fuck? Well, maybe I'm early. Because again, I'm like stressing myself out about being late, but I was 5 minutes early. And so I go sit down.
That's so mean.
And I'm waiting and I'm waiting. And it's now 1:05. And I'm like, where the hell is this dude? And so I go to the actual office and I'm like, hey, have you seen Professor so-and-so?
So-and-so.
Yeah, and so's. And the lady's like, oh, no, I haven't seen him today. But, like, he doesn't normally come in until about right now anyways. But she's like, but I don't think he's coming in. She's like, he's definitely coming in tomorrow. She's like, why? And I said, well, I thought we had an appointment today at 1. And she was like, oh, well, maybe he's just running late. So just give him, like, 15 minutes. And I'm like, inside dying just a little bit because like every moment that I'm out of work, I'm thinking of all the shit that's probably piling up that I'm going to come back to. And I'm like, oh God, oh God, you know? And so I go back and I'm sitting there and it's like 1:10 and I'm getting like more and more frustrated. And I don't know if you're not on Facebook right now, or are you?
I am.
Okay.
I'm back because I started running the Socially Awkward Facebook page.
Okay, so did you see the post that I posted about UWF?
No.
Okay, well, so I get angry and I'm like so offended. So I like do this whole post about how like frustrating it is that like these professors or whatever with like their doctorate degrees like just think that they're better than everybody and that their time is more valuable. And I'm like, you know, just like ranting, right? And so then I'm like, I'm gonna send him an email because I'm gonna leave. Like, there's no reason.
He was late because like his mom died or something, right?
There's no reason for me to sit up here and be like wasting my precious time, you know. It's an inefficient use of time is how I feel. Like, I'm very big on efficiency.
Right.
And so I like go to email him and I send him an email and I try to make it worded like, because I also do need this guy's help.
Right.
And I'm like, I'm here, maybe I mixed up the time or the day, you know, but I'm gonna have to go back to work, like, you know, kind of like that, without being like, you're not where you're supposed to be, you know what I mean? Like,
right.
And so I send it, and as I'm like sending it, it's like the whole thread of these emails, okay? And so something catches my eye, and I'm like, what? And so I look. Well, come to find out that the day that he had actually sent to me the sentence, how about next Thursday at 1, was Monday. Which definitely changes the entire definition of next Thursday, pending the day it was sent. And so I was like, oh, fuck. So then this wave of just like, I'm a huge idiot. And also kind of an asshole. And so then I have to immediately email him back and be like, oh, within like a minute. I'm like, oh, I've realized my error. I got the days confused. Apparently calendars are hard for me to understand. And like common English phrases. So, my bad. And he responds like right away with, it's next week, sorry. And I'm like, oh God, he didn't even think it was funny. So like, I'm going to come into this appointment next Thursday and be like, you know, I'm that idiot who can't figure out calendars, but like, I'm great for your grad program. I promise. Like, I also, because I'm super awkward, I'm like, he's gonna think how presumptuous I am. Like, oh, how dare I just show up to an appointment? Like just, I can show up at any time that I desire and you should be available to me. Like, that's where my brain goes. I'm like beating myself up over it. Like, how fucking stupid are you, you crazy piece of shit? So then I hop on Facebook real quick to delete that post because I was like, if no one has seen it or like commented or anything, I can delete it really quick.
Right.
No. People had commented and liked it and like did all this other stuff. So then I had to be like on Facebook because I refuse to be one of those people who like doesn't admit when they're fucking wrong. I'm like, turns out,
as we learned last night,
turns out I'm a goddamn idiot. And the professor is still wonderful. 10 out of 10 would recommend. He is always where he needs to be when he says he's gonna be there. I'm just a garbage can.
If it makes you feel any better, he probably has so much going on that he's like, okay, whatever. She just fucked up a little bit. It's fine.
Well, my mom, of course, was like, you could read that anyway. You could have read it like, yeah, it's next week. Sorry. And I'm like, listen, I don't need...
Like we've discussed, like, tone is very difficult to decipher over, like, texting or emails or what have you. So.
Exactly, yeah. So, that was my freaking dumb for the week. Anyways, what's your next story?
Okay, so it's another work story.
Mm-hmm.
So for people that know me,
Mm-hmm.
you know that I'm very politically active. And so let me just describe to you like how my office is set up, right?
Uh-huh.
So there's 3 of us. There's like the office manager is right there when you first walk in the door, and then there's me, and then there's the accounts payable clerk, and we're all separated by like these weird little dividers. But like when you walk in the office, unless you come walk in front of my desk, you cannot see me. Thank you. You can't see me. I'm hidden. I could do whatever I want, and unless you like peeked over, you would have no idea.
That I'm even there. Phantom of the Opera.
I was listening to that at work the other day.
I love it.
It's so good. So, one of the project managers from our rebuilding department comes in with a customer, and he says, oh, this is Miss So-and-so, it's a new contract, blah, 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 and I'm just, like, listening in, because I'm like, oh, man, I'm gonna have to input all of this, And I don't know how they got on the subject, because, like, my office manager was, like, doing her thing, and, like, the customer was talking to the manager, the project manager, while, like, the office manager was doing her thing. They start talking about the governor's race.
And Emily's twitching.
I am twitching. Florida is doing their run for governor right now, for anyone who doesn't know. And so the lady starts talking. She's like, yeah, I just went to one of this guy's rallies, and he seems very nice and down to earth, and blah, blah, blah. And then my project manager says, because I don't know who they were actually talking about, but then my project manager says, yeah, it's between that guy and Ron DeSantis. And I, like, grip my chair, and I look over at the accounts payable clerk, who me and her are sort of the same age, same demographic, and I look over at her, and she's just like, I know, and just nods. And so, like, I'm, like, busy, I have work to do, but I just drop everything, and I sit there clenched. Because if I don't put all my energy into keeping my mouth shut, I'm going to get fired. Because keep in mind, the project manager that came in is somebody that I have to work very closely with. So I need to keep my motherfucking mouth shut.
Yeah.
Or else I'm gonna pop off on this old guy. And we are not gonna be very nice to each other. And it's gonna make work very difficult. So I really need everybody to be proud of me that I kept my mouth shut.
I'm very proud. Like, I thought this story was going to take a totally different turn where, like, you hopped up and you're like, well, actually.
Oh, God. And then, like, the customer was talking about how great Matt Gaetz is. And anybody that knows me knows I have a personal vendetta against Matt Gaetz. And I have exchanged with him on Twitter once or twice and have dragged him for filth. And it was not a fun time. And I was just like, I'm gonna put my headphones on and listen to my quote-unquote shitty millennial music.
So do you have to, like, answer phones or anything, or you get to just listen to your headphones?
Okay, so, like, I'm, like, the 4th or 5th person in line to answer phones.
Okay.
But, like, shit gets busy. So I do answer phones and I make appointments, blah, blah, blah. But I'm an administrative assistant. So mostly I'm just, like, on my computer, Like,
And they let you, like, listen to headphones
Yeah.
and it's not a big deal? Oh, God.
yeah, like, everybody, like, even my office manager, she has, like, her speaker hooked up, and she was, like, playing Boyz II Men the other day.
She's adorable.
She's so nice. I love her. She's so cute. I really do love this job, but, like, I knew coming in that, like...
There's a lot of Republicans.
Yeah, so... I need you to be really proud of me.
Well, I have a work story too. I don't know. I think I told you this, but so I work in healthcare and my office is in the very front of the building, right by the front doors.
Yes.
So when people are like bringing their loved ones that we're caring for in and out, the front doors are like hella heavy, as you know.
Yes.
And so people usually have to help
They're
them.
trying to keep you in.
Yeah, like you're not trying to leave. So this guy comes in and he's like, how do I keep the door open so that I can bring, my grandmother back in? And I was like, I hold it. I was like, I hold it. And he's like, okay. And so I get up and I'm holding the door open and there's like a big like lump right at the door. And, a lot of times if you try to push a wheelchair through, the front little wheels aren't built to handle it and they will like tip over and like dump the person directly out onto the floor. Okay, and most of the time that doesn't happen. It just gets really close and those people, like, you can see the fear in their eyes because like their face is about to make contact with the ground. So anyways, he goes to try to
These
push
old
it.
people get like a moment of clarity and realization.
Yeah, like their whole life flashes before their eyes. So
sad.
he goes to push it, and his grandmother is kind of larger, and so he
Right.
hits that crap full force, and you just see this wheelchair like it's like a reverse wheelie, okay?
Aww.
And she's scared, I'm scared, he's scared, all of us are scared, and
Everyone's terrified.
she doesn't fall. Thankfully,
Okay.
but like he ends up like being able to kind of like catch her back in the chair and like pull her back, and so I'm trying to explain to this guy that he needs to turn the wheelchair around and then pull her through.
Right.
Because the back tires or wheels are bigger, right? And so
I'm so excited.
that's the message I meant to like give this guy.
Right.
But what I actually like sent him was just hit it from behind. And I don't even like miss a beat. Like I don't even think two things about it. Like in my mind, I was like, "Ha, got the point across," and like I carry on. And so then like he makes it through, and he kind of just looks at me. And keep in mind also that this guy is a guy I went to high school and middle school with. Well, some of high school, but middle school with. He
Okay.
emotionally scarred me in middle school because he told me I had a unibrow one time, and I got like so obsessive with my eyebrow maintenance that I would not leave my house if I hadn't plucked my eyebrows that day. Like that's how bad he scarred me.
Right.
But I have great eyebrows now, so I'm like, yay.
Yes, you do.
And also,
I'm frequently jealous.
and also, he's like super gay TM. Like he is one of them for sure. And I'm not just like accentuating. He like for sure is. But anyway, so he just kind of like he gets her through the door, okay, and then he just like looks up at me and like taps my arm a little bit, and he's like, just say turn around next time. And then
He did not.
He did. And then that was when I realized what I had said, and I was like, oh dear God, why am I the way that I am? Like, I hate who I am as a person.
You didn't tell me that part.
Yeah. Well, so then I immediately messaged you that story, but also I messaged my like little like group friends that are at work, and I'm like, funny story, and I tell them the story. And so it just so happens that one of my friends was walking up to like come hang out with me in the office anyways. So like as he's walking in, he's on his little like smartwatch and reading it, and he just like he's like in no C.
Okay.
And he's in the doorway and he just like looks at it and he goes, ugh. And he just like face palms, right? And he comes in and he's just like, I can't believe, like, what the fuck? Like, what? Why? And so we're sitting there laughing and we're talking about some other stuff. And the chief walks in.
Right.
And so, like, we got into this whole conversation. I don't know how somehow it was, like, talking about Riley. And I was like, yeah, he's going to have to be... We were talking about when Riley is 18, I'm going to be 36. Like, I'm still going to be in my goddamn prime.
Right.
Okay? And I'm like, yeah, so when he's 20, I'll be 38. He's definitely going to have to go pro football so that I can hang out with pro football players. And Chief was like, oh, well, make
Are
sure
you going to be a MILF?
Fuck yeah, I am. Like,
Okay.
that's the plan.
If you marry, like, a rich, hot football player, please make sure that he gives me money.
Of course.
Okay.
I have been planning on being a cougar since I watched that show Cougar Town.
Oh my
I was
god,
like,
I love
where do I
Courtney
sign
Cox.
I was like, where do I sign up? I'm gonna be like a softer version of Courtney Cox because like I'm gonna
Perfect.
stay fluffy, but like I'm still gonna be hot, so it'll be okay.
Right.
But so we were talking about it, and I was like, yeah, he needs to be a professional football player so I can like hang out with professional football players.
Right.
And Chief's like, well,
What about a soccer player? Is that also acceptable or
I'm
no?
accepted with like that's
Okay.
fine too.
Because you are Brazilian.
True. But so Chief's like, well, make sure he has a backup plan in case he blows out his knee. And I'm like, that won't happen because we have really strong. And then I like realized what I was going to say. His eyes got really big. C's eyes got really big. And I was like, I'm not going to say it. And I just like went back to my computer like aggressively. And C's like, so I got just hit it from the back and I almost got, we got strong knees in my family. He's like, this is the best day ever.
You were really just having a day, weren't
Two
you?
for two, man. Like I have the best words.
I know how to word real good.
I do so much wording, and it's wonderful. All the words I word. Anyways, what's your next story, Ems?
Well, actually, do you have any more stories you want to tell? Because mine is sort of long, and it's also something I kind of want to, like, discuss.
Go
so
ahead.
I
Go for
figured...
that.
Okay, well... Okay, so anyone that knows me knows I'm really into true crime podcasts.
Yes.
And I wanted to discuss with you my favorite missing persons case of all time.
Is it a chick from Pensacola?
No.
Okay, go.
Missing presumed dead. / presumed dead.
Fair.
Because since I first heard about it, I have thought about it once a day. Like, it's been like 4 months, and I've thought about this every motherfucking day.
Okay, go.
So I want to very briefly discuss with you the deaths of Chris Kramers and Lasan Froon.
Okay, I've never heard of these people, so.
Okay, so Chris Kramers and Lasan Froon, I'm reading from Wikipedia because I didn't actually prepare anything. I just
Okay.
want to give you a nice brief overview. They were Dutch students who had just recently graduated college. And they were going to Panama for like a little vacation. They were best friends. But they also wanted to like do volunteer work and like work with the kids in the community and, you know, make a difference. So how old were you in 2014?
Jesus. That's only like 4 years ago.
Yeah.
So I was 24.
Okay, so
Or 23, 24.
these girls were, when they disappeared / died, they were my age that I am now, and so just a little younger than how old you would have been. So, to tell you about the girls a little bit, Lasan was 22. She was described as aspiring, optimistic, intelligent, and a passionate volleyball player, and Chris was 21, creative, responsible, very open, and sociable. And they had saved up money for 6 months to go on this little vacation.
A 6-month vacation. Oh no, they had saved up money for 6 months.
6 months.
Not to go on a 6-month vacation.
Yeah, it
Okay.
was, I think, it was only supposed to be, they were only supposed to be on like 2 weeks.
So are they angels or tots? Sorry, go ahead.
So they saved up for 6 months for a 6-week vacation. I'm sorry, I was
Damn,
incorrect.
fuck that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they got there on March 25th, or excuse me, March 15th, 2014. They toured Panama for 2 weeks before arriving in Boquete on March 29th to live with a local family while volunteering with children. Volunteering. On April 1st, they went hiking with their host family's dog around 11 near the clouded forests that surround the Baru volcano. Possibly the trail of, I don't know how to say this, Pianista? Pianista. Not far from Boquete. They wrote on Facebook that they intended to walk around Boquete, and it was reported that they had been seen having lunch with 2 young Dutch boys, 2 young Dutch men, before embarking on the trail. I should also mention, not that it's super important, they were Dutch. They were from the Netherlands, I believe. Real sweet, real beautiful. Just like really like good girls with like a vibrant future in front of them that were trying to like do something nice and like expand their horizons. So the host family became alarmed when their dog Blue returned home that night without the girls. Yeah. Um, Lasanne's parents stopped receiving text messages. I believe they were communicating through WhatsApp. And on the morning of April 2nd, they missed an appointment with a local guide. On April 3rd, authorities began aerial searches of the forest. April 6th, the parents of Kramers and Froon arrived in Panama along with police, dog units, and detectives from the Netherlands. And they conducted a full-scale search across the forest for 10 days. So a big detail in the story is one of the girls had a Samsung Galaxy and one of them had an iPhone 4. And through cell phone records, it's noted that they made multiple attempts to contact emergency services. And it's thought that they were in their right mind because they kept powering the phones on and off as if they were trying to save battery. And there's like a lot of little details that I'm not going to go into. There's plenty of like podcasts about it if anyone's like super interesting or super interested about learning more. My personal favorite is And That's Why We Drink. Christine did a really good segment on it. So just know that they made multiple attempts to contact emergency services and get help. So 10 weeks later, after the search, a local woman turned in Lasanne's blue backpack, which she had said she had found in a rice paddy by a riverbank near her village of Alto Ramiro in the Bocas del Toro region. And I don't know,
Locationally?
Locationally where, like, between Boquete and where the backpack was found, like, what's the distance, or if it's, like, the same place. Like I said, I didn't do a lot of research. I've just thought about this every day for, like, the last 4 months of my goddamn life. So in the backpack, it had 2 pairs of sunglasses, $83 in cash, US dollars, Lasanne's passport, a water bottle, Lasanne's camera, 2 bras, and both of the women's phones. Everything was in good condition, and apparently just a couple hours after they began their hike was when they made their first contact to emergency services. So something went wrong very quickly. Let's see. So yeah, like I said, there were a lot of calls to services to be made. It's theorized that one of the girls died long before the other, because I believe Chris was the one with the iPhone 4. And there were a bunch of failed passcode attempts. So it's thought that maybe one of the girls died and the other girl was left with her phone and she kept trying to like get into it to try to call for help. And she was left all alone in the forest. But one of the scariest parts about this entire story is that her camera was found, I believe, along with a backpack. And it says Lasanne's camera contained photos from April 1st suggesting that the women had taken a trail at the overlook of the Continental Divide and wandered into some wilderness hours before their first attempt to reach 911 with no signs of anything unusual. On April 8th, 90 flash photos were taken between 1 and 4 a.m., apparently deep in the jungle and in near complete darkness. A few photos show that they were possibly near a river or a ravine. Some show a twig with plastic bags and candy wrappers on top of a rock. Another shows what looks like toilet paper and a mirror on another rock. And another shows the back of Chris's head with what looks like blood on her temple. And that's really the end of that story. They found some of their remains, so like the girls definitely died. They found some of their remains. I believe they found like 28 foot bones from one of the girls and like the pelvic bone of the other girl. And it's just really sad. Because these were girls with very bright futures. Like, nobody thinks they were, like, on any sort of substance. They were in their right mind because they were calling for help. You know, they obviously, like, their things were, like, very neatly packed away. Like, they were planning on returning, right? And, like, one of the scariest parts is it's theorized that the search crews got very close to where I believe Lasan was the one that they think survived longest. They might have gotten very close to where she was. Like, she might have still been alive, and she might have even heard them looking for her, but she was too weak to actually, like, call out and get their attention.
Yeah. But it's not one of those, like, they think she got murdered. It's like they probably got lost in the woods and attacked by animals, or fell, or got...
Like anything else, like, some people theorize that, oh, they were, like, kidnapped by a killer of Panama and they were murdered. But more than likely, they succumbed to the elements.
Well, because you gotta think, like, you know, you're trepsing along in an environment you don't know, you know, without a guide, you know, and...
You have a dog, but that dog's not going to do much.
That dog obviously gave no shits about you. He was like,
I'm
going home. He's like, it is dinner time. I've got to go. This has been fun, but bye.
Fuck you.
Yeah, I bet one of the girls, like, got injured somehow while they were, like, off deep into the woods.
Yeah, and so, like, the other girl probably, like, followed down, and the dog was like, peace, and went home.
Right. And then, you know, that sucks. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, but that really got into my head because it's not even, like, a very dark case. Like, I've listened to some really fucked up shit. There's some monsters in this world, right?
Right.
But I think, and even Christine on the podcast I talked about, she even said it's just because they were, like, so young, and this is just, like, a freak accident.
Yeah.
Like, this was not supposed to happen.
Right.
So it's just very tragic and very sad. And
well, there's this movie I like a lot. It's not really like, but it's sort of. But so it's called what's it called? Listen, Buck.
I do also want to say while you're thinking about that.
Keep going.
Apparently, all 90 of the pictures that were found on Lasan's camera can be found on the internet. But I've not been able to find them. And as sick and twisted as it is, I really do, like, want to look at them. Just to kind of, like, you know... it is kind of fucked up, right? Like, these are cataloging the probably, I word real good. This is cataloging probably the last moments of these girls' lives. But I just want to see if there's anything, like, indicating, like what the hell actually happened. Because, like, if anything, these girls and their families deserve, like, actual answers. Like, you know, these parents are still grieving. Like, their babies are just gone.
Yeah, but, like, I mean, likelihood is it's very unlikely that they will get, like, an exact, this is how this happened.
Yeah.
In order of sequence. Like, more than likely, you know, like you said, they succumb to the elements, and that's probably all they're going to ever get, which just sucks, you know, but, I can't think of the name of this movie. It's called, like, Drop Down or something like that.
What's it about?
It's about this, so this chick is a widow of this, like, folk singer, I guess you could call him. I'm like, always have a hard time, like, telling what kind of genre music falls into. Like,
yeah.
I don't really know what alternative music is versus what it isn't. Like, I'm just like, it's very acousticy and folksy.
Right.
And,
my vibe.
And apparently it's kind of darker or whatever. And so this chick is the widow of this guy who... he tragically died very young.
Right.
Like, Is
this like a horror movie or like
no.
a thriller? Or...
No.
Oh.
And
I was like, hell yeah, I gotta watch this.
No, so, this, like, professor who studies musicians or whatever, really liked this guy's music and he thinks that the guy, like, jumped off a cliff because they lived up in, like, the mountains.
Right.
I think it was in New York, but it could have been somewhere else. I'm not 100% sure where they lived. But like
Somewhere with mountains.
up in the mountains, it was a lot of, the winters are real cold, like that kind of thing.
Right.
And he had gone hiking, and then he died. And the professor guy is thinking, oh, that he like for sure like jumped off this cliff because he was a tortured soul or whatever. And so he's writing this book about all of these musicians who did take their own life. And so he goes to try to interview her or whatever, and it's actually super cute. And now I can't think of his name either. God, it's a good movie. I'm gonna have to like look it up.
We'll share on Facebook when you find out.
Yeah. Tumble Down. That's what it's called. Ha ha. So anyways, but the woman is like, spoiler, he didn't kill himself.
Right.
The fact of the matter is that even the most experienced, you could go hiking the same place every single weekend, and you're experienced hiker and whatever.
It only takes like
one
slipping on one rock,
one mistake, one error of judgment or miscalculation or just shitty circumstance for it all to go south.
Yeah, like the wind could blow wrong on like this one particular day and you could die.
Exactly. And it's like life is so fleeting or whatever. But anyways, it's a really cute movie. I recommend it. Check it out. To get off the depressing track though,
Sorry.
speaking of movies and things, as Emily knows, because I make her like listen to me talk about it constantly, and I feel like I brought it up a couple times. Netflix has been like just putting out banger after banger after banger. Like, I'm sorry, I don't even feel the need to go to the movie theater to watch any other movies.
I cannot keep up.
Like,
I really cannot.
Like, yeah, she can't. Nobody can. I always recommend all these really good shows and movies and stuff, and no one ever watches it. At You Know Who You Are. And
she's adding me, everyone. It's me.
You're not the only one, but like you are a pinnacle person. Pinnacle of class. So anyways, like this week me and Riley have watched quite a bit of like newer things on Netflix, and some of them are sort of like girly and childish, but I'm gonna still recommend them. To All the Boys I've Ever Loved is adorable. I've made him watch it like 3 times. Like, we went to watch it the 3rd time. I was like, you know what I want to watch tonight? And he was like, he goes, is it that same movie? And I was like, yeah.
That's so funny because, like, one of my favorite pastimes is taking BuzzFeed quizzes, like, every other Gen Z/millennial.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, I was scrolling through them because they have this cool new feature where, like, if you click on a quiz on, like, their app, like, it just keeps giving you quizzes, like, you can just scroll through.
Until you're dead.
And, I went through, like, 7 quizzes pertaining to All the Boys I Loved before, and I was like, what the fuck is this?
Because it's freaking, like, trending right now. It is such a cute movie. The author or whatever of the book, like, fought very hard to make sure that they had an Asian, female lead.
Oh, bless her.
She is adorable. Like, her voice is cute, but like her facial expressions that she makes is like so goddamn relatable. And yes, she is Asian American, but still.
But like that representation is very important.
I think so too. And she's so cute. Like her style sense is adorable. Like I just love her altogether. The soundtrack.
I'm 11 and I canceled plans to be here tonight.
The soundtrack is actually like super good. Like a lot of the songs that they use, and it's shit like. One of my favorite ways to find new music, other than like listening to like stations on,
is TV shows and movies.
Yeah, because they play some shit like you wouldn't normally hear. Like you're not gonna hear it anywhere. Anyway, so super
Sidebar,
cute.
do you want to know like my favorite thing in the entire world? And I felt so blessed when I heard this.
What?
The moment I heard Alt J in Captain America: Civil War, like my life was complete. I was so happy. Anyway, go on.
So, and that's how like a lot of bands like make it big, is having their shit like put on movies or whatever.
I mean, Alt J was already like a big band, but
well, I don't know who it is, but so
please listen to them. They're so good.
I will check it out. So that one, highly recommend it. It's super cute. Then in that like vein, we started watching this movie called because Riley like just couldn't handle it for a third day in a row.
A fourth?
Well, no, because we didn't end up watching it 3 days. We watched it twice in a row. But I went to try to watch it again, and he was like,
No.
he's like, but hear me out.
Concepts.
He's like, it's a good movie, but it's not that good. And so I was like, fucking fine if you're gonna kill my vibe. And so we watched, it's called Adventures in Homeschooling, or no, in Public School.
Okay.
And it's also adorable. Again, another good soundtrack. And the main lead is like, I guess he's like a Netflix actor because I've only seen him 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
The first time was in some other movie that I still think you need to watch. It's like Alex Lovegood or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
And that was super cute. He was the lead in that, and then now he's the lead in this movie, and it was adorable, and we liked it quite a bit. And so then as we're watching that, like this other movie pops up as a recommendation at the end. It's called The Package. Okay.
Oh God, I hate it.
The Package, the thumbnail for it, like the cover of this movie is literally a eggplant emoji, so you figure that one out. It is like very like Without a Paddle-esque and like a modern Without a Paddle. It's hilarious. Like we were in stitches. It is not a family movie, so please do not watch it with any kids that aren't my kid because we do things differently here. But
Because fuck your societal expectations, that's why.
because I have a relationship with my son that I don't have to justify to anyone else.
Boom!
So yeah. I parent the way I want to parent, like it or not, I don't give a fuck.
And you also have a very, like, well-behaved and intelligent and witty kid.
Well-adjusted, like, very
Yeah.
polite. Yeah. Smarter than your other fucking kids. Like, did I mention he's in advanced classes? That's my doing, bitch. But anyways, so, open communication, man. Like, people do not take it seriously. Like, your kids...
It's so important.
Your kids will realize when you're talking to them like condescending, like you think they're an idiot. But if you're honest and like open with your kids, your relationship is better, and therefore your kid comes to you with shit. And I think that's way more valuable than making sure that they never say the F word. Sorry. But
Yeah, like I can talk to you and Riley the exact same way. Like he very much has your mannerisms, but he's so mature and he's so like he's just a good ass kid, honestly.
I mean, I'm biased, but like I agree. So anyways, we watched The Package. It is hilarious. Recommend that. Then also the other one, and this is the last one I'll bring up on Netflix because this has gone on long enough. But it's called Disenchantment.
Oh,
It's
we
like,
watched this last night.
I made her watch an episode last night. It's like, the way I describe it is if like Brave met Rick and Morty.
It's so good.
It is. It's super quotable. It is delightful. The basic premise is it's a boss-ass bitch princess who is not trying to get tied down and get married, and she also has like a struggle with alcoholism and drug use, but it's delightful. It's like a fun kind of like mess. And
like Rick and Morty.
Yeah, it's super super funny, so highly recommend it. Netflix, like, do you have an algorithm for putting shit out? Like, what is it? Because it's like anything you make, I like. Like, it doesn't even matter what it is. I like all of your shows.
See, they have a very high standard of quality for what they're putting out, but because of the nature of the platform, there's a lot more creative freedom, I feel like. And
Yeah.
I'm sure, like, with anything else, making a Netflix show comes with its own, like, hoops that you have to jump through and its own obstacles. But there's a lot more creative freedom, and you can just kind of like, okay, well, concept, what if? And then you can just take it and run with it. Any kind of weird fucking thing.
Yeah, as opposed to like having to be on a network or whatever that has to be family friendly or
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah. Well, anyways, the basic point of this is Netflix, I love you very much. # sponsor us. And or let us have a show. Like, I think we would be able to like come out with some pretty good stuff, I think. But anyways.
Everybody at Netflix on Twitter and Instagram. Netflix is a joke. At Netflix is a joke, please. We're great.
we really like you. Do you have any other stories?
Nothing that can't wait till next week.
Okay. Well, so I have still a couple more things.
Oh God, okay.
Sorry.
I thought we were finishing up.
No. I was just making sure that I wasn't like just stealing all of the fucking like time.
Okay.
Okay, so I don't know if you saw.
I literally talked for like 10 minutes about missing girls, so it's fine.
It was really interesting though. Our show has depth. So
Yeah, last week we talked about mental health struggles out of nowhere.
yeah, it was just what I was dealing with. Sorry, but
It'd be like that sometimes.
I'm better. I'm better this week. In case anyone was worried or curious.
I'm not.
Emily's just on a normal level of I'm not, but we take care of her, so it's fine. Well, so I don't know if you saw, but Cards Against Humanity is offering $40 an hour to write cards.
No, I did not see that.
Yeah,
What
yeah,
the
yeah,
ever-loving
yeah,
fuck?
yeah. So and so I of course was like, click clack, where do I do that at? And
Where can I apply?
Yeah. Well, you go to the Cards Against Humanity website, and it says that you have to send in like 15 white cards, 15 black cards.
Okay.
So, bitch, the next day I had like a list compiled, some of our actual deck that we have created, but also some that I just like came up with the cuff. Like, you know, the black cards are always harder to like make new ones,
Right.
but
Also, like, you can just throw out any kind of bullshit. And like,
it's-
if you're funny, you can make that shit work.
Right. So, I don't know if you're interested, but I will read with you or share with you, like, the ones I sent in. I'm honestly just
Please.
waiting for my job offer because I think they're pretty funny, but,
Please.
okay. So, the ones that I
You know what
sent
I'm
to
doing
them,
today?
compiling a list of 15. So, white cards, gargles menacingly, a bunch of skeets all over the place, hashtag at rockin'. Jesus aggressively flipping tables. Food so spicy your lips hurt. A particularly bad case of swamp ass. A hook penis. Putting on moist jeans from the dryer and walking around with a wet grundle all day. I'm pretty sure that one was tempura. He came up with that.
That's very specific and also true.
Donald Trump's shitty toupee. Renting a truck to bowl for infidels. That was definitely baby mama. Stuffing your fat face full of pudding instead of caring about others. Being a motherfucking waterboarding champion. Trusting a fart too much. Aggressively punching you in the face with my vagina. Throwing up for no good reason. An auto-tuned queef played on a continuous loop. Honking on Bobo at JR. Eyebrow searing farts. Again, rockin'. A sign language interpreter at a Trump rally just wildly swinging around both middle fingers in all directions as Trump speaks. A public ass licking. That was baby mama. An actual cannibal Shia LaBeouf.
Yes!
Real angry eye contact. Hopes for dopes at Netflix. I stay wet. Soul crushing anxiety. Playing tag with someone you know is faster than you. A belly full of Taco Bell. 3 tubes straight up the poop chute. Making the high functioning autistic kid cry. At D.
Is that JR?
No, that was at D. That's a real life scenario.
Oh my god.
Okay, black cards are what's disappointing when it's 2 inches shorter than you thought. All for one and one for blank. What should you hide in a bushel basket? Take my eyes but not my blank. A good reason to do a citizen's arrest is blank. The smoothest way to flirt. What's more disappointing than a 9-to-5 desk job? Sorry I blanked last night. I'm just really awkward. 2 easy steps to ruining a Trump supporter's day. Hop on it, the beginner's guide to blank. What should you never do with a belly full of Taco Bell? Those go together. My biggest fantasy, question mark. What do you do when you've saved yourself into a shitty spot on a video game? What helps you fuck a girl into her feelings? Trust me, bro, chicks can't resist blank. And so those are the options that I sent into Cards Against Humanity.
Was the video game one inspired by your game in Fallout where you couldn't
Fuck
beat
you.
the Deathclaw?
Yes.
Like the first actual mission.
Well, you know, and actually, I really feel like a cheater, so I kind of just want to restart my whole Fallout because the only reason I got through that was the game glitched and the Deathclaw fell into a hole and couldn't get out, and then I just shot him in the
See,
hole.
I don't feel bad because my very first game of Fallout, my personal game where I modeled the character after me and named her after me because I'm a narcissist. it took me a solid 3 weekends, maybe 4, to just beat that fucking Deathclaw. And then on this new game that I recently started, his name is Seamus. He's my child and I love him. I literally just picked up the minigun from the helicopter and was like, "Bah!" And then he died. And it was a lot easier, and miniguns are very heavy, but they're very effective.
True. All right. So this has been another week with us on the Socially Awkward Sessions.
Don't forget to follow us on Instagram and Twitter so you don't miss a single update. Catch you next time. Bye!